Hi, everybody. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady, and I'm the host of the Smallbizchat podcast. I'm so excited to have you all here with us today because we have an amazing show. We're going to talk about everything you need to know before this year's tax season as a small business owner. There's lots of changes that have happened. Also, if you're a business owner that's ready to get serious about content marketing, you're in the right place. One of my guests will share strategies to develop content that your target customers will love. And if you want to know how to scale your business with Amazon, I have an expert here who's going to share how he hit it big on the platform. We're going to be speaking with the money coach, and she's here to talk about what you need to know before you file your taxes this year. And if you're looking to grow your business with content, one of my guests here is going to talk to us about the secrets to building an effective content strategy. And if you want to know how to make big money with Amazon, we have a business owner here who's going to share how he became an Amazon bestseller. My guests today have amazing insight to share. And if you're unsure about how to handle the IRS, you're going to get some sage advice. If you want to learn how to develop content that sizzles, you're in the right place. And we're going to talk about scaling your business on Amazon. It's a lot harder than you think. Now, the Smallbizchat podcast is a peer-to-peer interview show that gives small business owners a way to get invaluable business advice. The mission of Smallbizchat is to end small business failure. And if you're watching us, you are watching us on my Small Biz Lady YouTube channel or my Facebook fan page. Now, listen, we want to make sure that you know that the goal of the Smallbizchat podcast is to end small business failure. You're here to get advice about how to take your business to the next level, and we're giving you different angles that you might want to consider. So tonight's guests are Lynnette Khalfani-Cox. She is the money coach and best-selling author of Zero Debt. Also, Carolyn Crummey, who is the CEO of Vertastic, a top content marketing and strategy firm. And we're going to be talking with ALFRED May. And he is going to tell us how he turned his unique card company into an Amazon bestseller. So now with that, I want to turn and introduce my very first guest, who is a longtime friend of mine, Lynnette Khalfani-Cox. She is known as the money coach. She is a personal finance expert, speaker, and author, and she has written 15 money management books, including her New York Times bestselling book, Zero Debt, The Ultimate Guide to Financial Freedom. Lynnette has been seen on more than 1,000 television segments nationwide, including Oprah, Dr. Phil, the Dr. Oz Show, Good Morning America, and the Today Show. If you want more information about her, all you have to do is go over to askthemoneycoach.com. Lynnette, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey, it's my pleasure. I was looking forward to this.
All right, well, let's jump into it. I know your backstory, but other people don't. How did you become the money coach?
Well, I actually had no idea I would do anything in the realm of teaching people about personal finances and money. My educational background was in journalism. And so I got my undergraduate degree in English, then I got a master's degree in journalism and broadcast journalism, specifically from USC, go Trojans. But then I ended up going out from Los Angeles to the East Coast, and I got a job with Dow Jones, which was obviously the parent company of the Wall Street Journal. So I kind of parlayed my journalism background and experience. I worked for the Philadelphia Inquirer and Fox at 10 o'clock news and all that good stuff. And then I started in financial news journalism. And again, to be honest, I didn't know a stock from a bond when I started out. But I covered Wall Street. Ultimately, I started writing about corporate finance and investment banking and the brokerage business. And of course, over the years, I got to interview thousands and thousands of experts and, stockbrokers and investment bankers and traders. And I would always ask them about what worked and what they were doing with their clients. And so when I left my role as a Wall Street Journal reporter for CNBC, then I started my own company. as the money coach. And then I parlayed that sort of financial journalism background into a lot of what I do today, which is still a lot of media, a lot of writing, and a lot of talking to people about the personal finance issues that matter most to them.
Well, I'm really glad you told me all of that. I don't think I knew you went to USC, but listen, and I want to talk to you. You know, tax season is right around the corner. And so I wanted to have an opportunity first for you to clarify when are business taxes due and when are personal taxes due. This is a bugaboo of mine. Every year people get this really wrong and they potentially get themselves in trouble. So I was wondering if you could first, before we go anywhere, can you please clarify the deadlines?
Sure. So first, I should actually say the tax season isn't really technically around the corner. It's here. It's already, upon us. The IRS has started accepting and processing tax returns, and they actually kind of opened the window for that 2.5 weeks earlier this year compared to what they did last year. But the tax filing deadlines for corporate tax returns, it's March 15th, 2022 to get that 2021 tax filing in there. And that's if even if you have a partnership, if you file an 1120 or 1120S, folks like myself, if you have an S Corp, that's what I file. You get sort of K1 and dividend income. And if you pay yourself a wage in that manner, your tax filing deadline is March 15th on the business side. On the individual side, for individual tax returns, again, folks who are filing a 1040 typically tax return, it's April 18th. So you actually have a couple extra days than the normal April 15th tax deadline that we know and hear about.
Well, I'm glad you clarified that, because every year I feel like I'm educating people about, business taxes are due March 15th. And it seems like it's a surprise to people. So let's jump into it, though. What are the biggest changes that people should be looking out for going into 2022?
Well, certainly on the small business front, I would highlight two big changes on the tax front, especially as it pertains to deductions, which of course all of us small business owners should be taking advantage of every deduction and or tax credit for which we're eligible and for which we qualify. But two biggies are business meals, which for the 2021 tax year have increased, and also for 2022 from 50% deductions to you being able to write off 100% of those business meals, as long as you eat at a restaurant, or drink at a restaurant. You can't order some groceries or something, or, and get some food from a deli or whatever, and then try to write that off. But if you go in and you don't have to even sit down, you can have takeout, again, as long as it's for business purposes or you're having a business conversation, you can write off 100% of those business meals, not 50% as was in the past. Additionally, the mileage rate changed, and this one was not as favorable. It's 56 cents per business mile driven if you want to be able to write off your mileage on that front. And that's actually down a penny and a half from 57.5 cents the year prior. So, hey, the IRS, Uncle Sam,
they're doing reverse inflation. They're doing reverse inflation on people with that. Like, that sounds pretty ridiculous.
It's going to go back up again, or it has for 2022. But yes, for 2021, it actually went down for the business mileage rate.
Oh man. Well, let's talk a little bit about like some of the common mistakes that people make with their taxes. I mean, I would assume that the biggest one is they try to write off too much stuff and flag themselves for an audit. But other than some of like that sort of like Captain Obvious one, tell me some of the other things that people kind of mess up with their taxes.
Sure. So there's a laundry list of mistakes and blunders that people make when it comes to filing their taxes. I actually think one huge mistake is not claiming enough, not so much going to the side of, claiming a little bit too much. But again, especially as business owners, we should try to take every legal, of course, deduction to which we are entitled. But sometimes that requires you to do a little bit of planning, a little bit of documentation, a little bit of verification. Sometimes people don't take the deductions to which they're entitled simply because they haven't had good record keeping. And so that's one of the, big blunders. Then there's a whole, other things from transposing numbers, having a social security number wrong, not signing a filing, all those kinds of mistakes that will get your return, frankly, kicked back. And certainly if you're owed any kind of IRS tax refund check, it'll make it longer before you see that money coming in your bank account.
Well, what kinds of things can you do? I mean, I know it's too late now, but let's just talk about for their planning for 2022. What kinds of tax planning type things can you do to avoid paying so many taxes?
Well, I think one crucial thing that a lot of people would be aided by is not just sort of looking at matters related to tax season right around February, March, April, ahead of the tax filing deadlines. Really, you should be thinking about tax planning in a strategic manner all year long. So one thing you can do certainly is to have connections with a professional, a CPA, an accountant, a paid tax preparer, somebody who can give you some guidance and feedback and to help you along the way to be thinking about, again, the deductions for which you qualify, strategies for reducing business taxes, other tax credits for which you might try to make sure that you are able to capture, and just as a whole, the ways in which you can run your business more effectively in terms of being able to perhaps combine some elements of your everyday life or your lifestyle, if that's a part of your normal business activities. So I think one thing is to just really think through that taxes isn't just about the first quarter or so of the year, but it's really something that you should make a habit of kind of engaging with a professional and thinking through on a longer term basis.
All right. Now, I think I know the answer to this question, but unless your business is accounting, you shouldn't do your own taxes, should you?
I'm not a fan of it. Although earlier in my life, in my, early 20s or something, from maybe even 18 on, and I started working when I was a teenager, I actually used to do my own taxes for a long time. I'm a geek like that, though. I would literally sit there and read tax books. And to this day, I kind of geek out on it, and I read tax books every year. And I like to learn about tax changes, new laws that have come about that affect all of us, whether we're small business owners and entrepreneurs or otherwise. But no, frankly, I think that the experts are best positioned to be able to help us to not only file and prepare our tax returns, but to do so on time and to make sure that they, in a way that they understand all of the new things that happen. Because unless you're, a CPA, an accountant, a tax preparer, nobody's going to have the time, the effort, the energy, or frankly, most people, the wherewithal and the desire to keep up with all of those, updates in the law. And they do happen on an annual basis.
Now, I know that you have some specific advice for people around, should they be so fortunate as to get a tax refund? Like, what is it that, how should people plan for their tax refund? A lot of people just blow their tax refund. Like, what do you think people should do if they believe they're going to get a tax refund?
Right. Well, the IRS actually says that about 75% of all taxpayers do get a tax refund check, and the typical tax refund is almost $3,000. It's about $2,800. So that's a nice chunk of money to work with. I think there's 3 smart things that you can do with that tax refund check if you're so fortunate to get one from Uncle Sam. 1, pay down some debt. Way too many Americans have way too much debt, small business owners included. A lot of them are just, putting bills on their own personal credit cards and or their business cards, et cetera, but pay down some debt. That's a strategic, smart use of some of your tax refund monies. You should also save more. Unfortunately, the average American, again, has a woefully small amount of savings. In fact, studies from the Fed and elsewhere show that the average American doesn't even have $400 in emergency savings, and that if an emergency did come up, they'd have to whip out plastic, borrow from someone else, or go to another source to be able to deal with that unexpected event. The savings problem in this country is huge, especially given the pandemic, where we saw that so many things can be sort of out of our own control. It's one of the reasons, Melinda, I know that that I'm super happy to have partnered recently with H&R Block. They've actually launched a digital banking app, a mobile banking app, and a savings account called Spruce Money. And it's phenomenal in terms of helping people to be able to meet this challenge of saving more money. You get to, not only use the app, it's a free app, and you don't have to be an H&R Block client to do so, but you get to use this app in ways that really foster greater savings, because they're giving you little nudges to tell you to save. They're helping you to track your spending, and they're helping you to allocate or to earmark a portion of your tax refund check to say, how much do I want to put automatically into savings? So they're making you be more mindful about the smart use of that fund, as opposed to just blowing the money as soon as you get that refund check. So Spruce is a great resource that I would definitely encourage your audience to check out. And then lastly, I would say investing in yourself. Certainly, as small business owners, we all take risks. We all do invest in ourselves. We invest in our businesses, but there's other things you can do to upgrade your skill set, to take boot camps, workshops, courses, etc., things that will help you in your career or in your line of work. That's a great way to use your tax refund check as well.
I love it. I love it. That was great advice. All right, I got one last question for you. What is the best business advice that you have ever gotten?
Hands down, the single best advice I've ever received was from my sister, Debbie. She passed away, unfortunately, in 2014. But Debbie, was a phenomenal person. And she always told me this message, which was bring your A game. And it was about excellence. It was about always striving to be the best at what you do, to not make excuses, to not do things in a half-baked manner, and to show up in a way that represents you personally and professionally in the best possible light. So, I really took that advice to heart in so many ways throughout my career, but certainly in the wake of her passing, even more so, it made me think about the high standards that she set. She was a small business owner as well. And I like to think that I'm kind of carrying that torch along, and that in her honor and beyond, that I'm definitely bringing my A game.
I love it. All right. This is Melinda Emerson. You're watching the Smallbizchat Live podcast. I'm here with Lynnette Khalfani-Cox, the money coach, and we'll be right back. Hi, I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady, and I want to welcome you to Small Biz Lady University. Our mission here is to end small business failure. So all of the courses here are about two things: how to become your own boss, or how to make money online. So that's what we do here. So whether you want to learn about email marketing and sales funnels, or you're ready to get started with social media selling, or if you're really just getting started with e-commerce, you might want to jump into our How to Sell and Market Online course. Either way, if you want to learn how to become your own boss and do it well, I have everything you need here at smallbizladyuniversity.com. If you have any questions or have any technical problems getting signed up, just email us at support@melindaemerson.com. Take care. Welcome back to the Smallbizchat podcast. I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady, your host, and I'm here with Lynnette Khalfani-Cox, the money coach, and she's going to give us some advice now for if you have some tax issues, what do you do? If you're afraid of the IRS, what should you do? Lynnette, tell us, if you've got some tax troubles or you haven't filed in 2 or 3 years and you're getting these threatening letters from the IRS, what should you do?
The main thing is don't avoid the IRS. They actually have a number of flexible payment plans, installment plan options, and other things to help people to deal with their tax issues. And so if you owe $50,000 or less, you can get into an installment plan. So you don't need to fear the IRS in ways that most people tend to kind of keep themselves up at night with fear and worry.
Well, and now if you do have an issue, though, should you try to negotiate yourself, or should you hire an enrolled agent, which is a CPA that's gotten some additional certification training to negotiate with the IRS on behalf of clients? Is it good for you to just try to pick up the phone yourself, or should you hire some help?
I think that for routine matters, you can actually do it yourself. If you have a very basic kind of situation, you want to explain that to the IRS, I don't think that you have to hire an enrolled agent. For more complex matters, for multi-year matters, for more sophisticated, let's say, issues or problems, I don't think it can certainly hurt to have an enrolled agent on your side. But I just don't want people to think that if they've been behind the financial 8 ball, or if they don't have the money to hire somebody, that they kind of stick their head in the sand and do nothing. It's much better to approach them on your own rather than do nothing.
All right, you heard it here from Lynnette Khalfani-Cox, the money coach. She told you, if you got some IRS problems, don't be afraid. Pick up the phone. Hiding your head in the sand is only going to make your problem worse. All right, coming up next, we're going to be talking with an expert in content, and she's going to help you get your 2020 content strategy together. You're watching the Smallbizchat podcast, and we will be right back. Are you ready to become a boss? Hi, I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady. Click the button below and take my free boss quiz. This assessment will help you learn your entrepreneur type and find the right business model for you. Get this information about the #1 asset in your business. Yeah, that's you. Welcome back to the Smallbizchat podcast. I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady, America's #1 small business expert, and I'm the host of the Smallbizchat podcast. If you are watching us live, we want to give you some love out on our YouTube channel, and certainly if you're watching on our Facebook page, please leave us a comment. Let us know if you love what my guests are saying, or if you have some content that you would like to see talked about on a future episode. All right, now let me introduce my next guest. Her name is Carolyn Crummey, and she is a small business advisor and content marketing strategist with over 3 decades of experience in all aspects of starting, managing, and running a successful business. She's the owner of Vertastic, a boutique content marketing agency that offers small and mid-sized businesses strategic know-how that increases traffic, brand awareness, lead generation, and customer engagement. They also tactically execute those strategies with their done-for-you marketing services. You can get more information about her at vertastic.com. So it's TASK, tick. All right. Carolyn, welcome to the Smallbizchat podcast.
Hey, Melinda. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Oh, I'm so excited to learn from you. So let's just start out with the basics, right? What is content marketing? And then tell me a little bit about how you became a content guru.
Sure, absolutely. So content marketing is what we're doing right now, right? It's a strategic marketing approach to focused on creating, distributing, and promoting valuable, relevant, and consistent content that's geared towards attracting your target audience and moving them to make a sale, right? So people don't always think of content marketing. It gets a little confusing, but really it's blogging, podcasting, your email marketing, your lead generation activities. That's all part of your content marketing.
Love it. Yeah. So why do you think that business owners need to do content marketing? Like, is it even an option not to do content at this point?
I was gonna say, I don't know that it's an option to not do it. I mean, the reality is content marketing will deliver the greatest ROI of all of your marketing efforts that you're going to put out there, right? And so what we're seeing is in 2021, 43% of marketers increased their content marketing budget. And in 2022, we're seeing that number go up even higher. More people are investing now in content marketing for one simple reason. It works. It's the best way to drive traffic, to elevate your expertise in whatever your industry might be, and to, get in front front of a target audience that you're looking to attract and sell to.
Yeah, but I see a lot of bad practice out here, Carolyn. I mean, there's a lot of bad content on the. I think it's one of the reasons why I still have a job, because as you know, I have a journalism background, so I always knew how to develop quality content, and I think that has always made the difference in my business. But you know, why do you think some small businesses fail with their content marketing?
So, you know, I'm not even sure if the word fail is the right word with it. I think it's more how so many small businesses don't optimize the opportunities that are in front of them with content marketing. We see it all the time, and we hear it from some of our customers. Oh, I tried blogging and it just doesn't work. You know, social media doesn't work for my business. Well, I hate to tell you, social media and blogging work for every business. I don't care what kind of business it is. It's just that you're not doing it right. You know, you can't just write a blog, throw it out there, you know, once a month, maybe, you know, post on social media a couple of times and expect that that's going to give you any kind of return for what your efforts are. It just doesn't work that way. You know, when I mentioned what is content marketing, one of the key words is consistent, right? Consistent, valuable, relevant information, right? Those are such keys to it. So, you know, the big problem we see a lot of times is a lack of strategy. Right? We see that across many areas of business, but in content, when it comes to content marketing, a lack of strategy is just setting you up for, you know, failure or not receiving the return that you should be getting on all of your efforts. So you've got to start with a strategy and understanding, you know, exactly what you're hoping to gain by each of the activities, whether it be blogging, podcasting, email marketing. You know, what's your expectation of that, and how are you going to, you know, move that forward in your business?
And, you know, I call that random acts of content, right? You know, when people don't have a strategy, they're just out here. Oh, I think I should be on TikTok because everybody's on TikTok. And it's like, no, you don't need to be on TikTok if your people are on TikTok.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I think people get caught up, though, in like, you know, the rabbit, like, oh, there's something new. Let me go chase that. So,
yeah.
So, but how do you figure out the best content channel for your business?
Well, it's a lot easier than many people think. The right content channels for you are where your audience is, right? So, but let's back that up a step, right? You've got to know who your audience is. And I know we've talked about this before. So many people fail to identify their target audience and have a really deep understanding of who they are. And if you don't know that, just stop. Just stop what you're doing. You know, it makes no sense. So define who your audience is. And once you know that, then you can very easily figure out where they're hanging out, right? Are they the type of people that want to listen to a podcast? Are they the type of people that'll come to your website and read a blog post? Are they sitting on Facebook? Are they sitting on Instagram? What is it? So there's a lot of things you'd have to think about, but it all comes down to where's your audience hanging out, and you need to go hang out there with them.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed, at least in the last, you know, year, is short form video. Everybody's talking about it. TikTok now has, you know, what, 1 billion daily users or something. I mean, like, to the point where all the other platforms are like taking on TikTok personality because they're trying to siphon people away. So it is Instagram Reels, TikTok, you know, I think YouTube Shorts is, even Facebook now has a video. I mean, do you got to be doing video? Is video converting better than any other type of content?
100%. 100%. They said, what was this? You know, okay, this is how I'm going to prove I'm a gal of the 80s, right? Video killed the radio star, right? Well, video has taken over content marketing as well. I mean, you have got to be doing video in 2022. I mean, if you weren't doing it in 2021 when you should have been doing it, you've got to be doing it in 2022. And every social platform now is set up with video. So it's not really just TikTok or Reels. You know, Facebook has been video for a long time. Pinterest, you know, all of the main social platforms have a you know, outlet now for you to do more video. And the question, do I need to be on TikTok? Do I need to be on Reels? Again, let's back that up to, I don't know, is your audience hanging out there? Where are they hanging out? If they're there, you better be there, and you better be, you know, producing valuable content for them.
So you just mentioned Pinterest, and that's another one I'm starting to hear a lot of buzz around Pinterest. And so talk to me about how Pinterest has sort of like had this resurgence, and it has a lot to do with video too, right?
It absolutely does. And it's funny, we wrote an article, I'm going to say like 3-4 years ago, talking about Pinterest. I mean, Pinterest is one of the first things that comes out of my mouth a lot of times when I talk about content marketing strategy, assuming that the client I'm talking with has an audience there. So if you have an audience that includes women anywhere from the age of 23 to 65, you should be on Pinterest. And the deal with Pinterest is, I always tell people, don't think of Pinterest as another social media platform. You need to be thinking about Pinterest as a search engine, just like you would with Google, or, Google's the only search engine I use, sorry, or any of the other ones, but it's a search engine, and that's the power of Pinterest. Now, just like many of the other ones, they now have Pinterest ideas, and Pinterest idea pins are now short form videos that you actually go, and the response to those has just been amazing. So you couple where, like on Instagram, you don't have that ability to push people back to your website, of course, unless you're over 10,000 viewers. So you lose a little bit of that ability to redirect traffic back to your website. Pinterest is a perfect vehicle for that now, even with their pin videos, because your whole goal when you're doing content marketing and posting on social should be to get people back to your website where they can learn more about you and discover more of the content that you have, which is going to actually help to convert them.
All right. So you have made the case for why we need to be doing more content. But what kind of time and resources do I need to have monthly to be churning out significant content? Because it's not an inexpensive thing to do. So
it isn't,
because you pay with your time, and time is so valuable for small businesses. But give me a ballpark of like what people need to be prepared to do if they're really ready to get serious about content.
Yeah, so I think, even if we just talk about a base content marketing strategy where you're blogging, let's just say twice a month, right, but then you're creating social, right, that has to be, consistent. So you're out on social 3-4 times a week on the different channels. And maybe you've got some short form videos that you're creating, and you're doing some email marketing so that you can continue to work with the people that have already raised their hand and said, I'm interested in what you do. I think studies have shown that to kind of maintain that base, most people are looking at about 20 hours of time. A blog post on average, now somebody who doesn't have a background in journalism like you, and I know you can churn out content and I can churn out content pretty easily, but I mean, an average person, you're 3 hours on a blog post to get it done. But what you've got to remember is it's not even just that, right? It's not just writing a blog post. It's the uploading it. It's the thinking about the SEO optimization, because all of those pieces come into play. And then promoting it on social media, doing an email out to your list to let them know, because just because you wrote it doesn't mean they're going to come read it. You got to let people know, right? So it's having a consistent process and system for your content that you put together. But on average, an individual will need to spend, I know when we do just our marketing in-house for Fantastic, we have somebody that spends a good, 20 to 25 hours a week just on our own stuff.
Now, you talked about writing content, right? Writing blog posts. Now, I'm starting to see all these ads for all these AI services, whether it's Jarvis.ai or Anyword.com.
Yeah.
Is that legit? Or is everybody going to end up having articles that all sound alike?
So we've played with some. I'm an absolute tech geek, right? So if there's a new tool out there, especially AI, which AI is going to be the future of a lot of things that we do, I'm going to be testing it out. So I've looked at Jarvis. I've played with Anyword, and there are some positive merits to it. I mean, it can aid if you're not a strong writer, or you're not somebody who particularly enjoys writing. It could possibly be used to help you kind of finesse words to a page. Is it quite there yet? I don't think so. I don't think so for the type of content that's really going to move the bar for you and actually get you the results that you want from a content marketing plan. But it's definitely come a long way. And I think as the AI for some of these, begin to learn more and they're fed more content and they have more users, then they're just going to become more intelligent. So I can see, 2-3 years down the road where we're going to see a lot more AI content. But what will be interesting to see is how our good friends at Google accept that AI content and what they do to actually encourage or discourage that use of AI content.
I think that's a really good point. Now, for the record, I would be remiss if I did not ask you, what is the right length of a blog post that people should be writing? I mean, it started 300 words, then it went to 500, then 750. Now I've seen, Neil Patel, I saw him in an interview talking about 2,000 words a post. So help me understand, where are we at with people that are still out here blogging? Because I feel like people that are still blogging are rare, because I think everybody else is doing podcasts or videos now. But what is the right length for SEO and for real conversion that you need to be thinking about for a blog post?
Yeah, I think there's a number of studies out there and it changes. It's like everything else, right? It keeps kind of changing. You're right. I think 4 years ago, you were like 700-800 words. I'm good to go. Blog post written. But now we've been into the don't write anything under 1,500 words. So, and I've even seen now that, even blogs that are 3,000 words are testing better than, those that are in that 12 to 1,600 thing. The thing to keep in mind is this. Right? When you're writing a blog post, is it valuable? Is the person, the last thing you want is to someone come read your blog post, right? Get to the end of it and go, well, I can't get, that 5 minutes of my life back, right? It's like watching a bad movie, right? You don't want to be like, oh God, I can't get that time back. You want them to finish it and then crave more. So I will always tell people, go for value over length. Right? Be thinking about that and then just optimizing that content that you have put in there, right? Make it something that they walk away, they've learned something, and then they want to come back to you to learn more. You just want them coming back and saying, you know what, when I need help in this area, now I know where to go, and they bookmark you and they keep coming back. That's your goal.
I couldn't agree with you more. You are just such a wealth of information, but we've got to take a break. But when we come right back, I'm going to talk some more with Carolyn Crummey about how often should you update your content strategy. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady. You're watching the Smallbizchat podcast, and we will be right back. Hi, I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady, and I want to welcome you to Small Biz Lady University. Our mission here is to end small business failure. So all of the courses here are about two things: how to become your own boss or how to make money online. So that's what we do here. So whether you want to learn about email marketing and sales funnels, or you're ready to get started with social media selling, or if you're really just getting started with e-commerce, you might want to jump into our How to Sell and Market Online course. Either way, if you want to learn how to become your own boss and do it well, I have everything you need here at smallbizladyuniversity.com. If you have any questions or have any technical problems getting signed up, just email us at support@melindaemerson.com. Take care. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Smallbizchat podcast. I'm here with my guest, Carolyn Crummey, CEO of Vertastic. And Carolyn, we were just talking about a lot of content stuff, but here's the deal. How often should a small business update their content strategy?
Well, the one thing about a content strategy is, like any strategy, right? You want to update it if it's not working, right? So you want to make sure. So we suggest to all of our clients, the beginning of the year, we reevaluate everybody's content strategy for a number of reasons, right? What's working and what's not. The great thing about content marketing is, and a very important part of content marketing is looking at your data. Data does not lie. And so data is what's going to help you choose what your strategy is going to be. The other thing is things change fast in the world of content and content marketing. So you want to make sure that, you're taking all of the new tactics and strategies that come along and seeing if they fit into your current strategy. So you kind of always want to be looking at your strategy and maybe tweaking it and maybe pivoting if something's not working. But definitely you want to kind of look at what you're doing at the beginning of every year and kind of set a plan for the year to come with what you're going to be doing.
I love it. Now, what about repurposing? I mean, if you're going to spend all this time developing content, shouldn't you be able to use it 2, maybe 3?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, nobody wants to reinvent the wheel, right? So this is a great thing. One of the big things coming up in 2022 and where we see a lot of people going to is podcasting, right? If they haven't already made that, switch over to podcasting, we're seeing a lot of people make that move in 2022. And the great part about that is that from a single podcast, you can get dozens of pieces of content that you can use. Blog posts, from one podcast, we can take a client and we can get 5 blog posts out of it, dozens and dozens of social posts that come from it, split up the video into a number of, different ways. And so, from one piece of content, you've got tons of it. And go back to the other pieces of content that you have that might be a little bit older. Can you refresh them? Can you bring them up to date? Anything you have that might not be evergreen, you want to be able to do that. And then think of things like creating a video from a blog that maybe you did last year that you can now just do a quick video for it and then republish it that way. You have some internal linking that you can create on your website. You've got some new content, infographics, videos, all of these things that you can pull from existing content that you have. That's an excellent way to utilize the bit of time that you have to do your content marketing to get some value out of it.
I love it. I love it. What good ideas. All right, Carolyn, last question. What is the best business advice anyone's ever asked you?
Ask me or given me. So, yes, that's fine. I'd have to say, I'm a child of small biz parents. My parents both ran their own small businesses. I started working in a small business with my parents when I was 12. And I think from the very beginning, the one thing that was instilled was know your numbers. And that's always been a big piece. And I'm amazed, when I talk with clients sometimes, how many people don't know their numbers. And when you're working, especially in a service-based business where you're providing services, it can very quickly become nonprofit, negative profit because we don't value time the way. So knowing your numbers, and I think in addition to that, knowing your value, that's a big one as well.
I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Carolyn. You have imparted so much wisdom with us tonight. And I hope everybody's going to be thinking about what their new content strategy might be. Up next, we're going to be talking with a titan of Amazon. He's going to tell us how he built his business using Amazon and how you can too. I'm Melinda Emerson, the Small Biz Lady. You're watching the Smallbizchat Live podcast, and we'll be right back. Are you ready to become a boss? Hi, I'm Melinda Emerson, Small Biz Lady. Click the button below and take my free boss quiz. This assessment will help you learn your entrepreneur type and find the right business model for you. Get this information about the #1 asset in your business. Yeah, that's you. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Smallbizchat podcast. I'm here with my guest, ALFRED. Excuse me.
It's mine.
It's like I'm thinking about it. I'm like messing up. ALFRED, who is the president and CEO of AMS Games, and he has a wonderful, unique card game company, and this is one of his best-selling products. I decided to try it out for myself. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to get him to tell us how he took his clever card games and created a business, and he is a power seller on Amazon. So prior to starting his company, he was a digital marketing expert specializing in mobile performance campaigns and paid ads on Facebook, Google, and Apple ad campaigns. So he knew a little something about digital marketing before he got on Amazon, but he tossed it all aside to start his company asmgames.com. And Alfred, welcome to the Smallbizchat podcast.
Thank you, Melinda. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, all right. So you got to tell us how you started a card game business.
Right. So, I mean, we create and publish and sell all different kinds of card games. I know you've seen from our website, from party games to gamified conversation starters to trivia games. We kind of make it all. I started the business 5 years ago out of my home. My girlfriend at the time, now wife, and I would always go to these game nights with friends. And honestly, we didn't really like a lot of the games that we played. And on the drive home one of these nights, we were talking, we thought, hey, we can make a better game. Let's do it. Let's try to make our own game. And so we did. So after work and on the weekends, we learned all we could about graphic design, print design, manufacturing, importing. We watched, YouTube videos, read articles, took online courses. We did it all. And long story short, about half a year later, we finally were able to first launch our game on Amazon. And since then, we've had 3 separate products on Amazon's bestsellers list. And we now sell in 8 different countries.
Awesome. So, that sounds like, people might think that's a rags to riches story, but I kind of want you to tell me about, why did you start selling on Amazon versus your own website? I mean, would you do it again the same way, or do you think people should do both?
Yeah, so I definitely think you should do both, right? There's pros and cons of selling on Amazon and selling on your own website. The pros of being on Amazon, of course, is the potential for Amazon users to see your product when they're browsing or searching around on Amazon, where they otherwise wouldn't have if you weren't selling on Amazon. So that definitely may help drive extra sales to you if you do things right. Another big pro is the trust that Amazon has. People oftentimes are more likely to purchase something if it's on Amazon rather than on an obscure website, right, where they have to input their credit card information, their address, and personal information. My dad, he falls for every other online scam out there. So I always tell him, hey, whatever you need, just buy it on Amazon and stop giving everyone else on the internet your credit card number, right? So even aside from the whole trust aspect, just reducing the friction of having to have potential customers fill out their billing and shipping information on your website, that's a big bonus for Amazon. And you've seen it. It's as easy as 1 or 2 clicks to make a purchase on Amazon. And I got to tell you, that is huge when it comes to having potential customers be actual customers.
It's scary easy to click and buy over.
Yeah, they make it too easy for you to give Amazon money, right?
But on the phone anyway. It's like it's faster to do it on your phone. It's really
one
scary.
Click, right? But aside from all that, there is one big benefit though of selling on your own website, one that you don't get if you sell on Amazon, and that is the customers you acquire selling on your own website, they're yours. Amazon customers who purchase your products on Amazon, they're not your customers. They're Amazon's customers, right? You can't retarget them. You can't email them for promotional marketing. You can't build an audience off of them to custom target on Facebook or Google advertising. It ain't your customer. When you sell on your own website, you can do all that, right? You can collect emails, you can remarket, you can retarget, and that in its own way is really, really big. So, back to your question, I definitely recommend doing both so you can capture the pros of each.
Now, how important is it to do your own online marketing, even though you're on Amazon? Because I think some people think if I put it up there, they're going to find me. All these people, millions of people every minute coming to Amazon. You still have to market even though you're on Amazon, right?
You're absolutely spot on. It's absolutely critical. There's sometimes, a misconception when people hear stories about Amazon success and they think, simply joining Amazon and creating a listing, I'll be, it's an easy goal and take it to 10x in their sales. But that's rarely the case. Amazon is an amazing platform for e-commerce, but really how you leverage the platform is key, right? The principles of running any successful business remains the same. It's about creating amazing products and how you market and sell those products. Just because Amazon has 150 million members here, it doesn't mean they're all going to be flocking to your listing. And honestly, it doesn't even mean a single person is going to click on your listing, right? So it's all up to you to, create a great listing and B, to drive traffic to that listing however you can.
So talk to me about how you drive traffic to your listing, right? You can buy ads on Amazon, right?
Yeah, you can. So ads on Amazon is relatively new. When I first started selling on Amazon, they didn't really have any ads in the search results. I believe there was an internal fight at the executive level within Amazon, whether to even include paid ads on their search results. One side said no, right? They said the goal of Amazon was to show users the best products possible, and that by having ads, you're going to hurt that experience. The other side said, look, it's potentially a lot of revenue for us. And obviously the revenue side won. And so it just started off with one listing as a paid ad in the search results. And now it's up to 5 on desktop. So every few months, I see them adding more and more ad spacing in the search results. So it's taking up more and more real estate. And I do think that it will continue taking up more and more real estate on Amazon search results. It's obviously very lucrative for Amazon. So I think Amazon sellers need to be prepared for this new reality, right? That it will be more and more pay to play, that it will cost you to get visibility. So, can you be successful on Amazon without buying ads on Amazon? Yeah, absolutely. Will that be the case in the future? Probably, but I do think to a lesser extent. I will say, though, that ads on Amazon have become more and more expensive. It's tough to be profitable. So definitely learn, take some courses, read all you can about best practices in running ads on Amazon. And like I said, make sure your listing is top notch. If you're going to be paying people to drive, paying to drive people to your listing, make sure it actually converts those clickers into customers.
All right, so let's talk about that. First thing I want to know is what can you do if you're not buying ads to promote your stuff on Amazon? And what makes a good ad, right? What makes a good product listing on Amazon?
Yeah, so when we first started, we did everything, right? We did paid ads, we did PR outreach. I found every editor I could, their email address, their Instagram handle, the Twitter handle. I DM'd them. I messaged them. I said, hey, feature our product. We have a really cool product. We did everything we could. We did influencer marketing. It's really just about doing ground up digital marketing, every way you can. If you have a lot of money to spend, if you have great performance marketing background, spend that money on Facebook ads. Make sure you're profitable, right? Because you can spend $1,000 and generate $10 in revenue. And I've worked with a lot of people that have done that. So do what you're best at doing and take the time to learn. There's a million ways to drive traffic to your Amazon listing. There isn't one right way. It really depends on your product. But my philosophy is always try everything out there. And if it works for you, scale it up, right? If you spend $1,000 on paid ads and it's driving good conversion rates and you're being profitable, scale it up.
All right. Well, I think that's more than fair. How can you encourage? I know you said that, when they buy from Amazon, they're not your customer, but is there a safe or legal way to get people to give you reviews, like to reach back to people to give you reviews?
Yeah, I get that question a lot. So first, Amazon has a zero tolerance policy when it comes to cheating on reviews. So, you will get banned and you will be banned. And the thing about cheating on reviews, it's kind of vague, right? There's some people ask me, hey, is it cheating if you add a pamphlet in your package and say, hey, leave me a review? No, not yet. But if you say, you throw a bunch of 5 stars on that pamphlet, is that priming people to leave you 5 stars? Yeah. Is that considered cheating? Probably. So, with all that said, Amazon knows that reviews are important for selling products. If you sell products, Amazon makes money. So Amazon obviously wants reviews and wants to sell products. So for new products, the easiest way to get reviews is to enroll in an Amazon program called Vine. It's a program where you can get up to 30 reviews by giving away your product to trusted, unbiased Amazon reviewers. They're going to test out your product and leave you a review. It's kind of an automated process. It's Amazon's sanctioned giveaway program, essentially. It's pretty cheap. It's like $200 to enroll each product in there. But yeah, you really absolutely need strong reviews. Aside from that, always double check the terms. But from what I've seen work is oftentimes when you leave a note in your package and you kind of tell your story about being a small business, thanking them for the support and asking them to leave feedback on Amazon so that they can help, other customers and users. That has worked really well. But again, Amazon rules always change. So double check and make sure that's okay.
All right. I love it. All right, Alfred, what is the best business advice you've ever been given?
My wife actually told me this. She said, nobody cares about your business more than yourself. And the context of this was when I would catch mistakes here and there from professionals that I've hired to look at things like legal contracts or taxes. And I was ranting to her and I was saying, why am I paying all these quote unquote experts all this money to do a job where I find issues, right? I'm not professionally trained in accounting or law. Like Lynette, I like to read. I'm kind of a geek, right? I like to thoroughly go over things. And I shouldn't be catching these things and I shouldn't be doing the research that I am to ensure that these things are right. And she said, no matter who you work with, who I hire, there will never be a bigger advocate to make sure things are done right for my business. So, make sure, take the extra time, even if you hired the best, to ensure that things are done right. Nobody cares about your business more than yourself.
I can concur completely. Thank you so much, Alfred. You've shared some really valuable nuggets here about how to hit it big and scale your business with Amazon. Now, what I want to do is bring back our other two panelists and have a quick panel that we like to call Hit and Quit It. So I want to bring back Lynnette Khalfani-Cox and Carolyn Crummey. And we're just going to talk really quick about what some random things that I like to know about small business owners. But here's the deal. You can only take 30 seconds to give me an answer, and you cannot repeat the answer of someone else. If you do, I'm going to give you the cowbell, and I don't want to do that to you. So first, I'm going to start with Lynnette because you've been on ice the longest. So the first question is, what is your favorite podcast? Lynnette Khalfani-Cox, what is your favorite podcast? Then I'm going to go to you, Carolyn, and then I'm going to go to you, Alfred.
Ooh, I guess I would have to say I like His and Her Money. I think I like what a lot of folks are doing. You put me on the spot with that one. But I'll go with His and Her Money.
All right, I'll take it. I haven't heard of that one, so I have to check it out. All right, Carolyn, what's your favorite podcast?
Oh gosh, so many of them, but I think the one I listen to pretty faithfully is Amy Porterfield's Marketing Made Easy. She just has a great way of getting new marketing information out there.
I love it. All right, Alfred, what's your favorite podcast?
I'm the complete opposite of these two. I don't listen to too many podcasts, and I'm gonna be completely honest. Yours is probably one of the first or the few that I've actually listened to. So I'm gonna have to say Smallbizchat.
Well, you're a teacher's pet. I appreciate that. I love always. All right, now next question, Carolyn. I'm coming to you this time, and then to you, Alfred, and then to you, Lynnette. What is your favorite business app?
Oh, actually, this one's easy for me because we just saved ourselves as an agency about $700 a month by getting rid of 3 different apps and just going to this new app that nobody probably knows anything about. I'm an app sumo geek, and I found it there, and it's called Plutio. And it is, we got rid of Asana, we got rid of time tracking, we got rid of another client portal that we had, and this has wrapped everything into one. Plutio, we love it.
Plutio, all right, I'm gonna have to check that out. All right, Lynnette, what is your favorite business app?
I guess I would say Mile IQ, tracking your business mileage, which is one of the things that I alluded to earlier in terms of what folks need to know for their taxes. And if you're a small business owner and you're driving around, you want to make sure that you keep tabs on what you're doing for the personal front and on the business front.
Love it. All right, Alfred, what's your favorite app?
Mine's is boring. It's the Amazon seller app. I could be in a beach in Hawaii and have a pulse of everything in my palm, sales, inventory, everything. So if you're an Amazon seller, you need to have that app.
Love it. Love it. All right. Last question. This time I'm going to start with you, Alfred. Then I'm going to go to you, Carolyn. Then I'm going to end with you, Lynnette. What is the best business book you have ever read? Best business book you've ever read?
Mine's is the Lean Startup. I come from a startup world and have taken so many lessons from being in that world. And this book has just so many good ideas, many of which I think you definitely can apply to even traditional businesses.
All right, Carolyn, what's your favorite business book?
That's hard. So I'm going to go with the last one. Actually, our team, our entire team, I just forced my entire team to read this one. Who Not How by Dan Sullivan. It's a new one. And I got to tell you, it will change your business if you embrace who, not how. And it's a good one.
I love it. I love it. I'll have to check that out. And Lynnette, what's your favorite business book?
I'll go with a classic. A 25-year-old book originally, which still resonates and has been updated for today. The Brand Called You by Peter Montoya. And when you think about it, this book was, written in 97 or so, I think originally, but even more relevant for today. We think about big brands, Coca-Cola, Nike, et cetera, but it's all about every one of us having a personal brand and how that carries out in the work that we do and how we need to pay attention and curate those brands.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you all so much. My favorite book is Disrupt You by Jay Samit, because he says if you want to disrupt the world, start by disrupting yourself. I love that book. I think everyone should read it. This was so awesome. Thank you guys so much for being my guest tonight. Lynnette Khalfani-Cox, the money coach. You can reach her at askthemoneycoach.com. Carolyn, Crummey, CEO of Vertastic. She is an amazing boutique content strategy firm. And if you're in the mood for a fun game night, you've got to head over to asmgames.com and check out one of ALFRED Mai's books, one of ALFRED Mai's card games, and they are really, really cool. I can attest to it. So please support my guests, because they have given their time and advice here tonight to help all of us do better in business. Thank you all for watching this episode of the Smallbizchat podcast. If you're looking for your digital pivot, I've got a resource that's going to help you. We've got wonderful courses over at Small Biz Lady University, and I have one called Social Media Selling that we just launched earlier this year. So if you're looking to figure out how you can turn your social into cash, I've got everything you need. All you have to do is head over to smallbizladyuniversity.com. You know, the mission of Smallbizchat is to end small business failure. It is my honor to work with you all and share my insight and those of my guests. And I want to leave you with this. You never lose in business. Either you win or you learn. God bless everybody. Good night.